2 weeks ago.
It being 6 o'clock on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, I'm calling this Board of Selectmen meeting to order, and we'll begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
This meeting is being recorded by the local scene. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify us at this time. Financial assistance applications are available on the town's website or by calling the Selectmen's office. For anyone interested in volunteering, there are several vacancies on various committees and boards, which this Saturday at 9 a.m. at town meeting is a great time to learn about some of those boards and commissions and committees. You'll hear directly from some of those people on a lot of the warrant articles that we will be presenting. So please come. We need 100 people by 9 a.m. so we can get started. It's going to be hot, so there's no reason not to come inside and hang out with us. Some upcoming celebrations for our tricentennial. Let's see, the first one is Saturday, June 27th. We have the tricentennial proclamation and celebration. That is, it starts at 11, but the ceremony begins promptly at 1 on the town green. What else is going on at the proclamation? There'll be people speaking. There might be some food trucks.
Artesian fair.
There you go. So come and check it out. Saturday, July 25th, we have the 300th celebration parade. Saturday, September 19th, we have Old Home Day. Sunday, October 4th, we have a historic house tour. And the next farmers market is this coming Sunday at Grays Beach from 10 to 2. Hopefully the weather will hold out for them. And for anyone interested, the Smiths Lane Overstate Route 3 virtual design public hearing is being held Tuesday, June 9th at 6:30 p.m. And there is a link on our agenda for that. If you want more information, it's on our website.
I'll be attending.
Good.
I'll be attending that, by the way, because it does affect me.
Perfect. Are there any other announcements? No? Okay. All right. Is there anyone here to speak at open forum?
I'm sorry, what?
Open forum.
Open one.
The only thing is Will wanted us to
Oh, right.
make
Mhm.
an announcement about his committee, that they're still looking for more members.
Right. The Commission on Disability is looking
So
for more members.
reach out to Mrs. Tucker.
Someone did ask me about that at the election.
They did.
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, Will will be at the town meeting if anyone has questions about that. Perfect. Okay, so the first item we have is a presentation from Woods Hole Group and Collins Engineering regarding options for improvements at the Adina.
I can just say a brief introduction.
Sure, it'd be great.
Good evening, Valerie Massard, Town Planner. I want to welcome our speakers tonight. We have worked cooperatively with a coastal resiliency grant from Coastal Zone Management to look carefully at our future redevelopment of the town wharf and the harbor master's office, working with the police chief and working with Tom here from the Waterways Commission and also the harbor master. So we're here tonight to present you a couple of options in terms of what we might do for redevelopment.
I was just going to ask if we could close that door. Thank you.
And we're asking that you take action on this recommendation to you this evening. So with that, I'll turn it over to our speakers.
Thanks, Val. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. My name is Lydia Webs. I'm a environmental specialist with Woods Hole Group, and I'm here with Ali Varinelli from Collins Engineers. We've been working with the town on this project this past year, just like Val said. And we're really excited to be here again presenting to you and to share these alternatives with you tonight. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you can see that. But I have to, click share. All right. Can everyone see a slide?
Yes, we can.
Great, okay. So this is the Kingston Town Landing Adaptation Project at the Adena 45 River Street. Tonight, we're going to briefly just go over background information about the project, the team, the goals, the scope, and some goals for the meeting tonight. And I'll pass it off to Allie, who's going to share the alternatives that we've developed as part of this project, and then we'll end with a recommendation and some next steps. So this, as Val said, has been a collaboration between the Town of Kingston, Woods Hole Group, Collins Engineers, and the Massachusetts Office of Coastal Zone Management. This is funded through the Coastal Resilience Grant Program. This has been a really great use of that funding, and the state really likes to work on projects with towns like Kingston. This, at the Adena, some of you might be aware of these issues, but these photos are from a king tide in November 2024. And the overall goal of the project was to reduce the impact of flooding on the southern part of the site. So the northern parking lot and boat ramp, which you can see in the background of the middle image, were adapted in 2024. And the goal of this project is to adapt the rest of the site and prevent flooding and king tide events and small storms like the ones you see here today. And for the Harbor Master Office to find a way for public safety functions to continue during and after storms to make sure that that site is a robust part of your public safety infrastructure. So this year, in October and November, we had our initial team meeting, and we had an on-site visit with a group of key stakeholders from the town, including the Harbor Master. And
I'm sorry, can you possibly speak up a little bit more, or if we can somehow get the
Yes.
volume turned up in the room?
Is it better if I'm here? If I'm closer here, is this better?
Maybe more on the volume.
It may be on the volume,
Okay.
I'm not
Volume.
sure. I don't know if
there's any settings on my end.
we got it, we're good. No, you're good. Now we can hear you, thank you.
We don't have to make my face really big. Okay, now that you can hear me, in December, we had our first presentation to the select board here, and Collins got into their engineering assessment of the waterfront structures and the soil conditions. We also completed analysis of flood vulnerability. When we got into February and March, we started to develop the alternative concepts we're going to show you tonight, and we met with the police chief, the harbor master, and key town staff members for feedback throughout that process. We also applied for the next year of grant funding in March. So we worked with Val to submit another application to that same Coastal Resilience Grant Program, and we're hoping to hear about that within the next month. So in the last couple months, we've been finalizing the concepts, doing some engineering work, getting flood modeling done to make sure that there are no issues with velocity redirection or anything, and that was all good. And we also had a public meeting to gather some feedback from the public, and we were able to meet with regulatory agencies. So that was really valuable to hear from them about what they think of these alternatives. And now we're in June, and we're presenting to you all tonight, and we're hoping to hear about that next round of grant awards and to have you all choose a concept. So tonight we want to communicate the alternative concepts to the Kingston Board of Selectmen, and we also want to facilitate a selection of a preferred alternative. So we're going to end with that recommendation that Val referenced. So just to introduce a little bit what the goals were when we started to develop alternatives, for most of the site, the goal is to maintain daily use. So for the wharf, the parking lot, the boat ramp, you're not really expecting to use them during storms, but you want to be able to use them during typical water conditions. And we found in the flood vulnerability assessment that you could see daily high tides flooding the wharf as soon as 2050. And so that's not a condition that, the site would be operational under. So we really want to keep this site working and make sure that it's upgraded and resilient into the future. For the Harbor Master's Office, there's kind of different goals. You want it to be operating during most storms, and you also don't want to see damage. So that was kind of the mindset that we went into these alternatives with. Now I'll pass it off to Allie, and she's going to describe these three alternatives to you that we developed for the Kingston Town Landing.
Great, thanks Linnea, and hi everyone, nice to meet you all. So we have, as Linnea said, we've developed three different conceptual alternatives of ways that we feel we can, achieve the project goals of maintaining operation of the site as sea levels rise, and also just really trying to improve the coastal resilience of this waterfront property. So this first alternative that I'm going to share is really more of an interim solution. This one's designed almost as like a stepping stone until there would be funds and means in place to implement something like the second two alternatives that we're going to share. So this one's really effective for the next 20 to 30 years is kind of the planning horizon on this option. And it looks to essentially keep the site kind of as much the same as possible. So there's a couple of different things that I'm going to share that are going to be consistent across all three alternatives. The first one being raising the parking lot that's hatched in that gray area. This is just south of where the northern one was originally raised like a year or two ago. So that would be raised up to elevation 9.5 feet, which that's referencing a datum. What that means in terms of kind of something that you could scale against, it's about 6 inches higher than what that northern parking lot is. In addition to that, we'll also be raising the concrete landing access to the floating docks along the northern portion of the site. That's going to go up to that same elevation 9.5 feet across each of the alternatives. So that's something that you'll see on each of these things that we present. That's shown in that blue area down on the bottom right. So this first alternative, we're proposing to really keep the parking lot limits the same, and everything's just going to be kind of raised in the limits of the parking lot. For the harbor master's office, we would recommend something like either wet or dry flood proofing, so things like raising electrical outlets, installing sump pumps, basically just different measures that we can implement that ultimately improve how resilient that structure is without making any structural alterations. For the wharf on this option, very minor changes. We would basically install an extension on the concrete cap and raise the whole structure up to about elevation 8 feet. And what that does is it brings it above the high tide line as soon as 2050, I believe. So it's going to keep the wharf operational and prevent it from being inundated during the tidal events in the next 20 to 30 years. So if you go to the next slide, I can show basically what this would look like in a side profile. So on the left side of the screen, that is essentially a key to show where you are in space. That red line where Linnea's mouse is over is showing kind of if you were to slice the wharf down the middle and then look at it from the side, that's what you would see over on the right. So for this option, this is where we're raising the wharf up about 1.3 feet or so, not any significant change. But you can see that that's where that brown area of the new fill and the dark gray new concrete cap, that would basically be the change that we would see. So very minor, still going to maintain the masonry face of the wharf, still going to have the timber piles going around the structure, and ultimately it's going to be very similar to what's out there now. So the second alternative is where we start getting into more of our long-term adaptation planning. This option really focuses on kind of retrofitting the structures that we have on site already, and trying to maximize the parking as much as possible. So starting off in the parking lot, again, raising that up to elevation 9.5 feet, which is 6 inches higher than the northern lot. We would put in a new retaining wall along the left side of the screen here in that dark blue. And that's just really to support the additional fill of us raising the parking lot and also to try to maximize how much spaces we're able to provide with this alternative. Down at the harbor master's office, we are proposing to reconstruct this building up to a higher elevation. So basically we would remove the existing building, pull it a little bit further into the upland areas of the site or further towards the west, and then put it up on piles to match that design flood elevation and be up to code with building code and really be more operational during a flood event. Currently, that structure is resting on a retaining wall that extends along the eastern side of the parking lot there, which is down at the bottom. So that wall would be removed, and then in place of that, we would restore the wetland and try to have a little bit more green space to kind of offset us expanding the parking lot over to the left side of the screen. In terms of the wharf on this alternative, this is where we're looking to raise the wharf up to elevation 9.5 feet. That's just shy of 3 feet higher than where the wharf is already, and One of the issues, if we raise the whole wharf all the way up to that elevation 9.5 feet, is really in the northern area, down at the end of the boat ramp where Linnea's Mouse is. Basically, that area right now is used for loading and unloading of boats. And if we were to raise the wharf up about 3 feet, we're really restricting how much operational time there is there with the tidal swing for people to actually be able to access their boats there. So to combat that, on this alternative, we would propose to slope the wharf down from where it's raised up at 9.5 feet towards the inland area. And as you get further and further towards the river channel, it would go down in elevation to essentially match the existing elevation over near where the gangway is. And what that's going to do is, again, maintain the current access that we have to load and unload vessels along the northern face of the dock. It won't interfere with the existing gangway access to the floating docks at the eastern side of the site. So that's really the reasoning behind that one. And if you go to the next slide, this is looking again at that same section at the very end of the wharf near where the gangway is. Basically, the wharf at this location is going to almost be exactly the same as existing. The only difference that you'll see is over on the very left side of that cross section, you can see it's starting to slope up. So as you go kind of towards the inland and upland areas of the site, your wharf elevation is going to start increasing. But the access and the existing configuration along that eastern face is really going to stay the same as existing. And the next slide. And then this is a cross section looking at the harbor master's office. So this is basically if you were standing just to the south of that building and looking at it, this is kind of what you would see under existing and proposed conditions. The dashed outline represents where the existing harbor master's office is. So you can see how low to the ground and kind of close to the salt marsh it really is. And then the blue structure on the gray piles is what would be proposed. So you can see we're pulling it a little bit further inland, raising it up, just shy of 5 feet. So a pretty significant elevation increase, but again, that's to match or meet building code. And putting it on piles. And what this does is it allows us the ability to restore the salt marsh underneath of it, take out that existing retaining wall and try to have a little bit more of a wetland restoration in this area. And then this last alternative is, again, a long-term resiliency solution. So this is planning for that 2070 high tide scenario, just like alternative 2. This is where we have kind of the most robust changes that you'll see across the site. And this alternative really prioritizes green space over everything else. So starting off with the parking lot, you can see similar to alternative 2, raising it up to elevation 9.5 feet. We just have it shown schematically now, but looking to try to reconfigure the parking lot to try to optimize how many parking spaces we have for the trailers that use this space. And then, we would slope as you get further towards the southern end of the site or the left side of the screen here. That's restoring the salt marsh in certain areas where we can, tie the existing salt marsh up to the proposed grade. On this option, we're showing a rain garden system on the northern portion of the site. This is just another, green infrastructure improvement, very similar to what's already been done on the northern side of the site back in 2024. So again, kind of having that green infrastructure element to have improved water quality. And then back to the harbor master's office. On this alternative, the structure would be not only raised up on piles, similar to how we just saw in alternative 2, but it would also be relocated somewhere on site. And you can see there's a couple different outlines here. That's because this is still something that's up in the air. We don't necessarily have a final location in place of where it would be moved to on site. But there's a few different locations that we're considering, and these are just potential options that will be finalized in a future phase after further discussions with the town and with the harbor master. But ultimately, it does give us an opportunity to restore the salt marsh and the former footprint of the harbor master's office and really have that enhanced green space. So down at the wharf, down at the wharf, we're going to have a material change on this alternative. Where instead of having the stone masonry wall, we would change to a steel sheet pile bulkhead. It's just a little bit more of a robust structure and kind of, easier to accommodate changes in elevation. So for this alternative, we're proposing to elevate the entire wharf, even all the way down towards the harbor side, up to that elevation 9.5 feet. So again, just about 3 feet higher than what's out there already. And we would incorporate on the northern side of the wharf in order to accommodate the vessels that kind of come up and moor their boats there temporarily. To make sure that there's still access to that during different tidal cycles, one thing that we had considered is adding in a new timber platform that provides access to a gangway that could then connect to a floating dock that would be there. And that way you're not so tidally restricted with the elevation of the wharf that we're going up to. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about on this alternative is next to where we have that landing that connects to the floating docks that provides access to the harbor master's vessels. Right now, there's a bunch of floating docks that are basically stacked in a big row that goes all the way from that concrete landing down to the river channel. Instead of having the floating docks near the very upland areas of that stretch there, we're proposing to pull those out and swap them with a new pile-supported boardwalk. And what that's going to do is it's actually going to limit how much impact we're having to the salt marsh, because currently as the tide rises and falls, a lot of those floating docks right now are kind of bottoming out on the salt marsh and causing some damage to the vegetation there. So a new boardwalk would be elevated, and that would still have the accessibility to the floating docks, but really just have a benefit of improved green space restoration. And again, just what this looks like if you were to slice the wharf in half. So down near the gangway, you can see where we're elevating the wharf pretty significantly from that elevation 6.7 all the way up to elevation 9.5. And then you can see just to the outboard side, or the water side of where the masonry wharf is, we have a new steel sheet pile bulkhead and a concrete cap that we'd be putting on, and then we'd fill that space in between with like a crushed stone material. And then reinstall those timber piles just to the outside to kind of maintain that same rustic aesthetic of the wharf that's there already. And then this next slide, again, looking at the harbor master's office. So because we're going to be removing this and relocating it somewhere else on site, that gives us even more opportunity to really restore and raise the salt marsh. So you can see how we're able to kind of slope that down to tie into existing grades and include some additional vegetation in the former location of where the harbor master's office was. And then this last slide just shows us going up in elevation from where the existing landing is to tie into the new elevation of the raised landing, and then you can see where that would connect directly to a timber boardwalk that would go all the way down to the floating docks. So I think that was it for me. I'm going to pass it back to Linnea, and happy to answer any additional questions. I know that was a lot of technical information, so happy to go through anything at the end of this.
Thanks, Allie. Yeah, it's a great overview. We made some quick drawings here just to reinforce that idea that Allie was talking about, where when we say hitting elevation 9.5, we're not talking about raising it 9.5 feet. The top shows a really rough sketch of alternative 1, where the wharf would be raised by 1.3 feet. And then on the bottom, you can see a version of alternative 2 or 3, where the wharf is raised by 2.8 feet. And this is a version where the harbor master's office stays in a pretty similar location and is raised not super high. So meeting building code, but not meeting maybe what you would want to hit if you were reconstructing the building. So like I said at the beginning, we have been gathering feedback from town staff, the public, and regulators. And I wanted to give some key bullet points of what we've heard from them. Town staff, we've heard general positive thoughts towards raising the wharf and the parking lot to the higher elevation, kind of doing it once and not having to revise it in 20 to 30 years. There are definitely concerns about the harbor master building location, wanting to make sure we get that right to maintain sightlines, proximity to the wharf. So in further phases of design, it's going to be important to make sure that the building design meets those goals. When we talked to the public, which is what that picture above is from, they talked about how they would really love to see seasonal kayak and paddleboard storage at the site. They really care about sustaining their access to the water and making sure that it's safe and accessible. And they also were concerned about how long is construction going to take? Are we going to not be able to use the site for a certain amount of time? So definitely wanting to make sure that disruption from construction is minimized if this project moves forward. We talked to the regulatory agencies. We heard some good news, which was the expectation that this would not require any special permits outside of the normal permits for a waterfront project. There would be some time of year restrictions on construction because Jones River is a fish run. And we've also heard from regulatory agencies that they favor a really resilient harbor master building. They want to see emergency response facilities raised to a high elevation and moved as far as possible inland without losing function. So trying to balance, what the regulators want to see with the needs of the harbor master's uses. So we made an alternatives evaluation matrix. This is pretty common for us in projects like this. With the resilience benefits from each alternative, the permitting effort required, which is pretty similar for each, rough cost comparison, favorability for grant funding, that's pretty important for a town like Kingston, should be able to get those state grants, water quality benefits or drawbacks, and then habitat benefits or drawbacks. I think we've mostly gone over this. I think the main thing I want to highlight is that Alternative 3 has, the highest cost, but also the very high favorability for grants, whereas the other two alternatives could carry a lower cost possibly, especially Alternative 1 could be lower, but they have a lower favorability for grants. And if you put numbers to this, this is kind of what comes out. Of course, there's always a million different ways you can go about scoring these things, but the way that we scored it happened to show Alternative 3 as the strongest, and that's also the conclusion we've been coming to as we've been coming to the end of this project, that Alternative 3 is the recommendation that we would recommend moving forward with. Now, when I say move forward with, it does not mean that in a few years exactly what is drawn here will be constructed. It means that you would move to the next phase of design with this. You would kind of revisit any elements that are question marks. You would move into design for the harbor master building, and that would get specific with an architect about what exactly it could look like and where it could be. But this general direction of offering the long-term resilience, raising it high once, and then not having to think about it for hopefully several decades is what we would recommend. This also gives the ability to update and improve the harbor master building by rebuilding it. There's several benefits to that, but one of them is that you could get some storage space underneath the harbor master building, which would benefit both the harbor master and possibly those residents who were talking about wanting that kayak and paddleboard storage. Like I said, this is also the most favorable for state grant funding. It maintains or improves the existing site usability, so parking is really important here to not lose. Ability to navigate with a trailer, and also public space. We heard from residents of the neighborhood that they really enjoy going down here in the evening and using the benches and sitting along the river and just enjoying a summer evening. So we wanted to make sure that that was preserved, and Alternative 3 definitely preserves it. And it also offers the most marsh restoration because you're able to move that harbor master building from being over current or future salt marsh. And it also gives you some possible water quality benefit if you're able to get a rain garden at the western side of the parking lot. So the next steps are hopefully to select an alternative, hopefully Alternative 3, and the grant that we applied for back in March would be for the second year of the project, which would progress to permit level engineering drawings and make progress and hopefully submit some drafts of permit applications. Val and others are also looking at possible additional funding sources for the harbor master building design, and there's some great possibilities there. So the idea is that it would move forward concurrently with the design of the rest of the site. So thank you very much for listening to our presentation. We'll field any questions that you have now about the alternatives or about the process. And yeah, thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I just want to emphasize, too, that the harbor master himself couldn't be here this evening, but he was planning to be here, and he supports Alternative 3 as well. You're not locking yourselves into anything more than committing to the most resilient wharf you can get for the grant money that we're going to be seeking to do all of this work. We have gotten the feedback from the neighborhood, and we believe that we can design the new building without obstructing views significantly from the houses behind the wharf, because there's a significant change in elevation. It's not easily seen on these photographs, but the house behind is much higher than the wharf itself. So as stated, it's not, nothing's cast in stone. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the idea of having the rain garden is very similar to how we designed the first half of the parking lot with a rain garden. It's been very successful in terms of treating the stormwater, and this is a continuation of that same favored approach. The other person that's been involved in these discussions is the Conservation Commission agent, Nat Pinella, who's also supportive of Alternative 3. So with that, open it up to any questions you might have.
Questions?
As always, my concern going forward is the funding for this. I would hope that, you know, we have grants coming in to fund a lot of it. Users should be funding a lot of it, the Waterways Fund, and I would hope that it would be a minimum cost to the town in general.
Yeah, so far we've invested about $17,000 in staff time and $11,000 in planning board funds, and we are coming to you for $11,000 in waterways matching grant funds at this town meeting on Saturday. So we intend to keep those shared grant costs down in terms of the match that we're making, and continue to work with the getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants in return.
The only thing I was trying to find was, we just recently redid the wharf
It
there.
did the north half, so.
Okay.
Can you guys go back one slide, please? You can see the reconstruction from here to the end. None of the north or the harbor master side has been done.
Okay. Okay. For some reason, I was remembering the ramp is probably what I was remembering from that
Yes, the
article.
ramp was done with the
Yeah.
north end of the parking lot.
Right.
2014, right?
No, and the
Yes.
23, I think it was approved at town meeting 23, and then the construction was 24.
24, yeah,
Yeah.
construction was right. I'm like, wait, I was still here, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I like the idea of, I share Mr. Pike's concerns, but I like the idea of being able to apply for the grants, and I think it's important that you support this and that the harbor master does as well. You're in the weeds much more than we are, as you should be, so I don't have other questions right now. Okay,
All right, you want a motion?
sure.
I move the Board of Selectmen support Alternative 3 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so the next item is a very brief update on Cushman Farms. So just an update, this has been a hot topic for many years. The ZBA met last night to talk about it, and I just thought, I didn't know what was going to happen at that meeting, and it was worth putting it on the agenda for an update. We do have a member here. You have two members here. They're hiding. Oh, yeah, I didn't see you, Paul. If you guys want to just get up and give us an update, like a 2-minute summary, kind of what happened last night and where things stand, that would be fantastic. Thought it would just be helpful for the general public to know what's going on. And unfortunately, we were in 101 last night, right? So it was Zoom or bust. No TV for everybody.
I'll let you go first, you're the chair.
Thank you.
And just introduce yourself.
Paul
for
Dallin,
those. Thank you.
ZBA, Kingston Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman. Last night we met for the final vote of taking the decision of action. After deliberations, we came up with a 3-0 vote to accept the 40B with conditions. The current conditions that we have written down are wider roads, We're down to a count of, I think, 107 or 108 units. 105, excuse me. With down to 3 floors, no access to
Copper Beach.
Copper Beach, but no emergency access currently. We want it to stay in sort of an area where it does not change over time and become an open roadway. We're hoping that density issue will solve other problems that are on this site, with being a lot of pavement, a lot of parking issues. They didn't have a true landscape finish plan, so we're hoping that helps with buffering with the neighbors, because there might be a light issue. And then on top of that, we dealt with snow issues, but like I said, we approved it. It's smaller, and that's all we can go from there. It's gonna go through its course, as we know it will.
And for folks unfamiliar, Cushman, the project is proposed for parallel to Copper Beach, not far from the elementary school.
And
but
it is kind of deceiving. So Cushman Farms is what they called it, because they originally wanted to come through Cushman Farms Drive, which is over by the school. They're now coming off of Marion Drive, over by the T. They do not have a traffic study with this now proposed new way of doing things, being that they'll only have one main entrance. That is why we asked for a wider entrance into this facility. That being said, this was probably round one.
And then what happens next? So they can move forward that way or appeal it?
They can move forward with what we put on for conditions. Actually, they'll have to pretty much accept what we've written down, and I'm sure they'll have some pushback, because we were putting in there's other things that we want in there with, we'd written in other 40Bs that we do not let them to basically scarify down too far down into the ground near the groundwater. We know there's a groundwater issue that they have, which is one of their initial conditions, which is they have a 100-year floodplain that goes through one of their buildings, and they had a couple of years to fix that 100-year floodplain that went through their buildings. So they have to take that up with the state. So that is one of their major hurdles that they have to get through, which it seems the talk is that they will get through it.
Okay.
That being said, this could be still a 2-year project before there's a shovel in the ground.
Okay. And that's if they move forward?
If they move forward,
with
yeah,
conditions.
if they appeal, which they might appeal, this is their own taking, if they want more density. They did have a kind of a math that they were working by acreage, because I think they have like 10.8 acres of land that they get to use in their calculations, even though that's not all their upland.
Okay.
So their upland, that's why they're condensing it to their upland, so they don't have to go through Conservation Commission, which they do still have to deal with. They were trying to circumvent by using the zoning board.
Got it.
So currently, like I said, it's approved with conditions. They're not harsh conditions, but they're still heavy conditions.
Okay.
All right?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Marcia, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I came to address, to just update the board that Cushman Farms was approved last night. And I am the most stunned member of the zoning board who was a voting member. I abstained from the vote last night because of the private meeting that was held. And that's why I'm here. I'm here asking.
You were part of that private meeting.
I was, and
Right.
because I was part of a private meeting that the public wasn't invited to, that I have serious questions about whether it violated open meeting laws,
Right.
how it came about, where the authority came from, who arranged it, by what authority, all of those questions. I have a whole bundle of questions. Not so much about the project itself. As I said, from the beginning of this project in October of 2023, I support affordable housing. I am a gigantic advocate for affordable housing. 40Bs are not going away. They're going to be coming to Kingston again and again. So I don't want to give you a primer on 40Bs, but 40Bs are very different from our 40A zoning.
As long as we stick with Cushman Farms.
Again,
Okay.
so but Cushman Farms is a 40B. It's very time sensitive because it favors developers. It wants the process to go quickly. It has very specific deadlines that have to be followed. And one of the deadlines that have to be followed is that when you close a public hearing, which we did on March 18th of 2026, we have 40 days to render a decision. And if we fail to do that, it's deemed approved. And when I last came before the board, I raised this concern, that
Right.
I was concerned that the project had been deemed approved. And I was upset about that, even though I was an advocate for it.
And to be clear, you spoke in open forum.
I spoke in open
So no one was
forum.
able to ask any questions.
Nobody
about
asked me
of
any
that.
questions, so I'm going to try to speed this along. And I expressed my concern about it then. And I had previously, to speaking at open forum, sent Scott and sent Selectmen Emberg and CC'd all of you blindly, mind you, and the entire zoning board. I'd send a memo to everybody saying, what the heck is going on? Why did the meeting get canceled? Where did all this authority come from? We act like a board. The chairman doesn't have super duper powers. The town council doesn't have. Come to us, ask for permission to do what you're doing. Let the public know. None of that happened. So I'm here before you. I still think they have their deemed approved. And I think that because the regulations state that the 40-day rule can be extended, that decisional rule that required our decision to be rendered by April 27th. Okay, we render decision on June 1, kind of past that deadline.
Right.
It says you can extend that on one condition. The board and the applicant must agree in writing.
Right, but one extra thing on that, which is worth noting, is it needs to be filed with the clerk.
It does. It has to be filed with the town clerk.
Right.
So when Attorney Tollerman took to the Kingston, I don't have any social media, but I learned.
You shouldn't, it's not good.
I learned that he was on social media claiming I was wrong, I was incorrect, all of these things. He had an ironclad agreement with the developer. Wow. The developer faxed the secretary of the zoning board a letter on April 16th saying, hey, yeah, we'll extend the deadline. But that letter never arrived in the town clerk's office until April 30th.
Right, so I think where that leaves us is we have a vote of the zoning board yesterday saying approved with conditions. We also have potentially a procedural issue that they could potentially be approved as it was. Now, I personally understand and agree with your position. I'm told by town council I'm wrong.
I know, but that's why I'm here to ask your
I know.
help. Do things work like I have described them to you? Is this the way town boards, subject to the open meeting law, act? I'm just asking you, if that's the way it is, will you at least think about it? Will you get together and use your collective wisdom and experience and common sense? These things are not complicated. The law is very clearly written. And the facts are all there for the public to see. Everything is on videotape.
Yeah.
Everything.
And I think what that means, though, is where it stands with this Cushman Farms development, regardless, is it's now in the developer's hands to either appeal the decision, or if Marcia, if your interpretation is correct, then they can just start filing permits. So I think at this point, we'll see what happens.
We will. I don't know what the future holds. I was at the meeting, the private meeting, at which the developer did offer to make some changes. Chairman Dolan has described them reasonably accurately, with one exception. The one thing they made very clear that they would not yield on was density. And we diminished their approved density of 162 units by 35%, down to 105 units.
We'll see if it sticks, Paul. We'll
And
see.
again, density
Can I just
is
say
the worst
quickly, Marcia,
reason.
that I just kind of whispered, like, you know, I've dealt with a lot of open meeting law complaints in my lifetime of being in different committees, and so I've spoken to the Attorney General's office quite a few times over what they believe to be open meeting law issues. You know, I don't know if we do or you do, or if somebody feels as though there was an open meeting law issue, you should go to the Attorney General's office and open up a complaint regarding if you feel as though it was an open meeting law issue. I don't know if anybody has. I don't know if anybody has done it. I haven't heard anything. But
I can do that, but I would
I understand you're
rather
on the
that
board,
this
but
board
yeah,
It is not my
take some
understanding that that is standard practice.
action.
Not, at least not on the board I've served on.
Again, I just ask you to sit down if you need the statutory references to the law. They're easy to read. You don't have to be a
I think everyone,
lawyer.
did you forward the memo that you sent? Joe and Sheila have it now too, right?
I did not send them.
Okay.
And I don't know,
That's
the
fine.
first
I'll-
memo, I did not. And I
Okay.
can send you all of the statutory sites and references, and you can look them up all for yourself. It's just, I'm asking you, I'm a member of the Finance Committee. I have another year to serve. As a member of a committee appointed that is subject to open meeting laws, I want to know how are things supposed to work. This just troubles me deeply that it didn't work like I believe it was supposed to. And I worry that the consequences will be, it won't, I don't know what the consequences will be. We'll wait and see what the developer does.
That's what you wanted, you wanted approval.
Sorry, Paul,
I
did you
abstained
wanna-
from voting.
Did you wanna
I'm in
step forward
favor
and
of
say something?
affordable housing.
I can.
That's, if you'd like to, take a moment and say what you need to say.
So the long and the short of it is, the zoning board hears 40Bs, and we hear other stuff in town that require coming in front of the zoning board, AKA applicants come to us with a problem. They don't come with, they cannot build, they cannot do, they cannot change.
Something
They have-
outside allowed zoning.
Exact, but they have to come in front of us. They are the applicant. This applicant, as she knows, as we all know, they run on waivers, on time waivers that are constantly changing. Every time there's a new meeting, we ask for another kickout of at least 60 days, constantly. They can get it right after the bat within 60 days or 90 days. They can get it. So we,
180 days.
sorry, we keep kicking it because it takes so many years. We keep kicking it constantly. And this is our office, by the way. This is the zoning board office. So we have to keep this constant wire of knowing where this stands all the time. Because we've had 40Ps play the game down to the hour of when they knew they could get a grant, knowing that we didn't meet on that week or that we were going to have an off week. So this is always constantly going. Now, the applicant realizing at our first deliberations that we were going to deny them on the fact that they had a floodplain issue, that they knew that they could beat. And actually, people in our town have helped them say that you're more likely going to beat this 100-year floodplain issue. That being said, they had reached out and said, can we discuss what we might be willing to do to make this 40B work? And to be honest, when I talked to Attorney Talman, I said, it might be a moot point. might be useless. And he goes, yes, but the applicant, the person who is asking to have it done, is asking to change the time limit and talk. I said, well, do you feel this is okay? And he goes, well, it's the applicant. They are the one who has control. They are the one who closed our meeting. They gave us no extension of a waiver. That's the reason why we closed it the night we closed it. We didn't close it because we felt like closing it. We closed it because within a couple days, they were going to get a constructive permit. So we had to close it, which gave us a period of time to then do our discussion and deliberation, which is hard enough to get 5 members together, and actually we only had 4 voting members. So we only had 4 voting members, so you have to wrangle 4 people, which is like herding cats, to come together to do a vote in a time limit coming into the summer. So they asked for, can we extend it? And I said, we won't extend it until they give us something in writing that we have. And they did. And they actually didn't give it to us until about 1, maybe 2 o'clock during the day. Because I said, the meeting's on until we have something in writing from them, because we need something from them, from their attorney, that we can hold them by. And they did. So we actually didn't cancel the meeting. We just said there's no reason to have the meeting, because we're allowing the applicant to basically, plead their case a little more. Marcia could have showed up to the meeting all she wanted. She would have probably been the only one there. She would have had to turn on the Zoom herself, and the public could have watched her deliberate. You can't open the meeting. It's not an open meeting to open. It's a deliberation.
Because she wouldn't have had a quorum anyway.
Exactly.
So the developer emailed the Wednesday of the before, is what you're saying. And it was filed with the town clerk that day.
I don't know if it made it to the filing, but we got the email.
Okay, all right, regardless, it doesn't matter. We have an update on Cushman Farm. There's
It came
clearly
through-
some
it-
interpersonal issues on the zoning board of appeals. This is worth noting as this board appoints
Yep.
the zoning board of appeals. So just take note that we're having some interpersonal issues on the ZBA. But also, we're just gonna have to see what happens, because reading the law, I agree that I believe Marcia to be right. I believe our attorney to be wrong.
Then
I could be wrong.
But then there would have been two things, actually multiple things. A, why show up to the meeting? You already have you already have the ability to just go get plans. They would have already had it before we met. They could
We'll
have
just have to
literally,
wait and find out, I guess.
they could have gone right down to the town hall and said, here's our plans, stamp them, we're off to the races.
They still could, right? Technically.
Well, they can appeal what we're going to give them,
Okay.
which is going to hurt them in court, because they also gave us language that was emailed from their attorney, signed by the owner of Cushman Farms. So it only makes them look uncredible.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have an ongoing issue where we have a reputation of being unfriendly to businesses. I think Selectman Pike, we've heard him say that several times.
Well,
And
Cushman Farms is not a
I think we just need
business.
to be very cognizant that that is our reputation, and with respect to the new business owners that are here in this room trying to do business.
Cushman Farms is not a business. It's residential land going into a commercial space.
Built by a developer, building a relationship with
I
a town.
understand, but it's going to still be apartments in the end.
I'm not saying I'm for or
It's not going to
against
be
it.
commercial or industrial.
Fair.
Madam Chair, I suggest that we've got a pretty detailed update here, and I would like to suggest that we move on.
That was
Thank
what I
you.
was getting to,
I agree.
Carl.
And thank you for your time, and I hope you look into this.
Please forward the memos to the
I will.
other selectmen.
I will do that, thank you.
Sorry, guys, appreciate your time.
Thank you for the update,
All right, so we have a public hearing. We have a couple of public hearings. And I think the last time when we had an attorney here, they told us we need to open and close them all separately, even though they're all on top of each other. So I apologize for story time, but here we go. So, public hearing notice. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 138, a public hearing will be held on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026 at 6:20 p.m. in Room 200 at the Townhouse, 26 Evergreen Street, Kingston, Massachusetts, on the transfer of annual restaurant all alcoholic beverages on premises liquor license from Indian Pond Country Club, Inc., Function Room to Palma IPCC, Inc., DBA, doing business as Indian Pond Country Club, Joel Mantle, manager. Said license is located at 60 Country Club Way, Kingston, Massachusetts. A copy of the application is available for viewing in the Selectman's office. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I move the board open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So, This is essentially the transfer of the license, which we talked about not that long ago. There was also a question about a pledge of license. So if you want to cover that when you talk about this as well,
Yes.
that would be helpful.
So there's, as I see for each of these, there's 3 things before the board. One is the approval of the transfer of the license. The second one is the approval of the applicant to be the manager of record, and that's Mr. Joe Mantell. And here's Mr. Mantell. And Mr. Mantell did his manager application as Corey. He had 23 years of experience with the East Bay Grill in Plymouth, so he's very experienced in the restaurant industry. And also, in the application, including on the front application as well as the financial, there was an indication that we're seeking to pledge the license relative to the financing involved. And I know from the ABCC, they like to see the board approve the pledge as well. That's all it is. So in any event, it's the same 3 issues, I guess, for the 3 motions before the board. Then there's an additional motion for the application of a common victualler license, which allows the service of food in the 3 locations where the liquor license is going to be, and then also the pool area where there is no liquor license presently. And Mr. Palmer's here again. Again, my name is Al DiNapoli, attorney, and Mr. Mantell is here to answer any questions.
Okay. Do folks have questions? Do we have everything? I think we have everything we needed, right, Tricia? Yeah. Do we have any questions?
Just with the additional motion.
I think I'm going to say it, and then someone can just say, so moved.
I tried to write it down, but I couldn't.
Any questions, though?
No questions from me.
Excellent.
Oh, we're just moving it over.
Yep. So I'm going to give this a shot because I'm adding in the manager name and the pledge piece. So if I could get a motion that the Board of Selectmen approve the transfer of alcoholic license number 00039-RS-0568 from Indian Pond Country Club, Inc., Function Room, to Palma IPCC, Inc., doing business as Indian Pond Country Club, located at 60 Country Club Way, Kingston, with manager Joel Mantell, subject to approval by the ABCC and subject to any pledge of license being approved by the ABCC, and consistent with the terms presented to the board.
So moved.
I was like, I think that captured the things you said. Okay.
I believe
Second?
so.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we get to close the public hearing. We didn't close it. We should have done that before we moved it. That's fine.
I move that the board close the public hearing.
Second? Anyone?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. I didn't ask the public. Was anyone wanting to speak about that?
I know.
The transfer? I'm doing everything out of order. Just keeping everybody on their toes. We'll do it better on number 2. All right, so this is the next one. So I have to read the public hearing notice on every single one of these? Man, okay. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 138, a public hearing will be held on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026 at 6:20 p.m. in Room 200 at the Townhouse, 26 Evergreen Street, Kingston, Massachusetts, on the transfer of annual restaurant all alcoholic beverages on-premise liquor license from Indian Pond Country Club, Inc., Members Club, to Palma IPCC, Inc., doing business as Indian Pond Country Club. Joel Mantell, manager. Said license is located at 60 Country Club Way, Kingston, Massachusetts. A copy of the application is available for viewing in the Selectmen's office. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
I move the board open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Would anyone like to speak on it? I'm doing it in the right order this time. No. No. Anyone online? No? Okay.
Is our friend no longer around?
I guess not.
I move the board close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's see if I got this. So can I have a motion that the Board of Selectmen approve the transfer of alcoholic license number 00038-RS-0568 from Indian Pond Country Club, Inc., Members Club, to Palma IPCC, Inc., doing business as Indian Pond Country Club, located at 60 Country Club Way, Kingston, with manager Joel Mantell, subject to approval by the ABCC and subject to any pledge of license being approved by the ABCC and consistent with the terms presented to the board.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next one. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 138, a public hearing will be held on Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, at 6:20 PM in Room 200 at the Townhouse, 26 Evergreen Street, Kingston, Massachusetts, on the transfer of annual restaurant all alcoholic beverages on-premise liquor license from Indian Pond Country Club, Inc., Grill Room, to Palma IPCC, Inc., doing business as Indian Pond Country Club, Joel Mantell, manager. Said license is located at 60 Country Club Way, Kingston, Massachusetts. We want to open the public hearing.
I move the board open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any comments, questions, anything from the public? No, okay.
I move the board close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And may I have a motion for the Board of Selectmen to approve the transfer of alcoholic license number 00037-RS-0568 from Indian Pond Country Club, Inc., Grill Room, to Palma IPCC, Inc., doing business as Indian Pond Country Club, located at 60 Country Club Way, Kingston, with manager Joel Mantell, subject to approval by the ABCC and subject to any pledge of license being approved by the ABCC and consistent with the terms presented to the board.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, almost there. Okay,
Good job,
so
Ann.
this, this next item is the victular license that you spoke of. We have everything we need, and Board of Health has completed all the inspections, so all we need is a motion unless people have objections.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the common victular license from Palma IPCC Incorporated, DBA, Indian Pond Country Club, located at 60 Country Club Way, Kingston, for the function room, grill room, members lounge, and the pool.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. I think you're
Okay,
done.
thank you very much.
I think that's everything.
Two things
Thank
I'd
you.
like to,
Yes.
thank you very much for putting us on for the schedule tonight, and also publicly like to thank Patricia for all the help. She's wonderful, and, there was a lot of paper involved here in these three, and she was very helpful with us, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck.
Congratulations.
Thank you. They brought reinforcements.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. Reading out loud, you mean? Whew.
Nice
All
job,
right.
Kim.
Need to drink more water. All right, so we have a temporary road closure request from folks on Foxworth Lane. So they've requested a temporary road closure for a neighborhood event on August 29th. So this request has been reviewed by both chiefs, and I don't have any objections. I don't know if anyone else does,
I do not.
or if anyone wants to speak on this, they can.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the request from Christopher Castanek to close Foxworth Lane on Saturday, August 29th, 2026, during the hours of 9 a.m. through 10 p.m. with the following conditions. Access for emergency vehicles must be maintained. All barricades must be placed to allow emergency responders to quickly move them. The petitioner must pick up all needed barricades and road closed signs from the Highway Department, and all barricades and signs will be erected by the petitioners prior to the event. Notification is made by the petitioner to the neighborhood residents that are affected by the road closure.
Second.
Oh, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic.
Can I just mention that
Yeah.
the did mention that this permit permission does not allow them to use fireworks.
That's next week. That's next week.
Oh, it's a different.
I was saying neither
No
does,
fireworks. here.
neither does state law, as I look at the police chief from across the room. Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We had, yeah, that's what I was looking for.
It is number 5.
5? Okay. Ooh, who's reading that novel? All right, I'm going to jump ahead so you guys don't have to sit through everything. Unless you want to, you're welcome to stay. Moving on to number 5, we have a request for a number of one-day liquor licenses for different events across town. We have all of the,
We just say as written in the warrant.
no. I don't know, can we?
I just had,
Change.
yeah, there's a
No, then you
clarific,
can. Okay.
yeah, just a clarification on details requested.
Details requested.
Police details requested.
Okay.
So, Chief, maybe you can help me with this one. Are you looking to have 2 separate police details at the Grays Beach movie nights?
Gonna make them
Sorry.
walk all the
I'm
way
sorry.
across the
I just
room?
want to make sure I get it right. It's a lot going on here. In the past, the Recreation Department has always had traffic support from the police department on our music nights. Are you also requesting on the music nights that 42nd have an additional police detail?
Yes,
Okay.
separate duties, separate responsibilities. One's catering to one group, the other's catering to the other group.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that was the clarification, so I just want to make sure the motion was effective when I read it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, you ready?
Well, the other thing that's worth noting
Sure.
too is we did receive the liquor liability certificate, so
Yes.
that's all set. We don't need to worry about that contingency.
Okay, so I won't read that part.
Oh, you want to do story time? Your turn.
Oh, you want me to? Okay. I move the Board of Selectmen approve the request for a one-day liquor license for Years and Beers event for the 42nd Brew Company for June 19th from 5 to 8 p.m. at Jones River Self Storage, 26 Wapping Road, contingent on, oh, you already have that, so that's all
Yep,
set.
That's it.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, one down.
Okay.
I'll do them all with Missy, by the way.
Okay. I move the Board of Selectmen approve the request for multiple one-day liquor licenses for Grays Beach Music Nights for 42nd Brew Company for June 23rd, July 21st, July 29th, August 11th, August 18th, and September 1st, and any possible rain dates from 4 to 8 p.m. at Grays Beach Park, contingent on the Recreation requesting a police detail, a designated service area to be designated by the Recreation Department, a hand stamp system to identify that that ID has been shown, and 42nd Brew Company requesting a police detail in addition to the Recreation
Got it.
police detail.
Yep.
Second.
Oh, yep, I was right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Can I get a clarification?
Yep.
So this is the music nights that you guys do on Tuesdays?
Sorry.
That's why I asked the chief for
So does
clarification.
Recreation have to get
This
two?
is the Tuesday nights, music nights that we were invited to serve beer.
Yes.
Right.
So
That was the clarification that I was just asking. So I don't know how the
So-
Recreation,
yeah, so I'm happy to participate, but
not with.
I'm not, I can't afford to pay a police detail to
Right.
support your music night. So,
Yep.
I mean, then I guess we're out for that, but we're still move forward with the Saturdays that we'd like to do.
Yeah, I think it just has to go back to the board, the Recreation Board, for clarification on that,
Right,
because.
so we're approving the liquor license, and there have to
Correct.
be two details, whether or not, who provides it, I don't think it matters, so Recreation has to decide if they want to have two police details and have you participate. I think that's
Correct.
essentially on the Recreation.
We're happy to
Department
be there,
determine.
but that's
Yep.
not our event.
Yep.
That's the town.
Got it.
So do we need to go back and, because,
Well, I think it has to go back to the Recreation of whether or not they want to provide two police details, I guess.
Okay.
If he's not, you know what I mean, interested
Right.
in that part, so.
well, okay, but we just said police detail from them, so we
Mhm.
need to strike that last part.
I'd say no.
Say
Okay.
I say
contingent? Say
it's contingent.
On police detail? Should we just
It
say
was,
contingent?
it said that, that was the, okay.
So for the, further information on that with the Recreation.
Yeah,
For
that's
that
what it
one.
sounds like.
Okay. And then this last one is you guys' events. So I move the Board of Selectmen approve the request for the multiple one-day liquor licenses for Gray's Beach, Beach Bar, Beer Garden for 42nd Brew Company for June 6th, June 13th, June 20th, June 27th, July 4th, July 11th, July 18th, July 25th, August 1st, August 8th, August 22nd, August 29th, from 1 to 5 p.m. at Gray's Beach Park, contingent on 42nd Brew Company requesting the police detail of the 4 hours scheduled within 48 hours of the events, a designated service area to be designated by the Recreation Department, a hand stamp system to identify that ID has been shown, trash barrels for use, 42nd Brew responsible for emptying them, Gray's Beach parking stickers required, and the rest is already there.
Okay.
Second.
Whew. All
I
right.
know where I'm going after town meeting.
I was just going to say that. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Yeah, sorry, you have to, because
I
no
know.
one,
Sorry.
no one on the recording or at home can hear you from over there. We can.
Yeah, sorry, Paul Shaley, 42nd Brew Co. I was just curious, for the police details, is that a requirement because it's a public park, or is it just because of the event?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Because it's a public park
So
for the
regardless-
town.
Okay, yeah, we were just wondering if it was because it, like on Gray's Beach music nights, there's like people show up really quick, they want to get there, whereas the beer garden's more of kind of like a turn and burn, like the Stack Shack downtown, or down in Portage Park. So we were wondering if after like a few events, is there an opportunity to review whether there's a need for a police detail? If the traffic flow is not like, hey, everyone's showing up all at once, versus
getting
kind of
this
like a
from the
restaurant.
police chief.
Oh,
From
It looks like the
That's the
police
police
chief
chief's
is
order.
willing to review the conditions after a few events.
Perfect. That's all I have. Thank you.
That's what I got
Thank
from
you.
that nod.
I know. I just want to make sure. I didn't want to make you walk all the way back up there. Okay. All right.
I have no problem with this, that we've just approved, but I wonder if at a future meeting, or, maybe even next year or something, we want to revisit, if we need to do something different when we're looking to have alcoholic beverages at Gray's Beach Park 18 times. To me, that's a lot different than when we approve a one-time or 2 times or 3 times at the mall or something. And so I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with, in effect, we're starting to have a weekend beer garden at Gray's Beach Park that we haven't talked about as a town or anything.
They had come before the Recreation Board, correct me if I'm wrong, and asked originally for a Saturday and Sunday. And the Recreation Department, after their presentation and what it was going to look like, decided that Saturdays would be a better start and kind of sort of a trial run at this and see how this goes. But, yeah.
We need food to go with the beer.
Okay.
But I agree with you. I think it's going to have to be looked at after and see how everything works out.
I mean, it's essentially what, every Saturday for
It's
the
every
summer?
Saturday for the summer, starting this Saturday.
Okay.
Yep, and for them as well, to see if it's worth
Sure.
their time down
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Okay.
Last one?
Sounds like
Everybody good? Okay. I move the Board of Selectmen approve the request for a one-day liquor license for Kingston's 300th proclamation event for 42nd Brew Company for June 27th from 2 to 6 at the Beal House, 222 Main Street. Oh, wait,
Road means.
I don't know either.
That's just a.
Wapping Road? Main Street?
No,
No
it's Main
road?
Street.
Okay,
Just Main
sorry,
Street.
222 Main Street, contingent on receipt of the
Nope,
liquor.
we have
Nope,
that.
we have that.
We're good.
Okay, Ping Road and liquor license is all set.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, excellent. Another plug for the June 27th event. Is
And I will,
that everything you guys need?
yeah,
No, you have more on here? No, just the one thing.
you're good.
You're good. Okay, excellent.
And I can send an email to Sue and get some clarification on that.
And
Thank you,
we
guys.
Thank you for all you're doing the town, so thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I'll be there Saturday if we get out early enough.
1, I told everybody 1. I just want to ask, are you staying for the appointments? Because I actually have questions about that, the ZBA appointments. You're welcome to stay, but it's more that it's procedural in nature. I might end up pulling it until the 23rd, just because I don't think I have answers. So, you're welcome to hang them.
I think I have to, what, 30th?
Yeah, we have to do them all for everything that expires before June 30th. Yeah. Okay, so next is the lieutenant's contract. So we met earlier today to talk about the contract, and Selectman Bateman recused herself. And yeah, I think we have an agreement at this point. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, but we just vote to ratify it, correct? And then we can put the number, the small increase number into the warrant. Yeah. Okay, any questions? No? Okay, motion? Anybody?
Yes, I will do it. I move the Board of Selectmen ratify the Kingston Police Lieutenants Association Fraternal Order of the Police Lodge 64 contract.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Are you abstaining or recusing?
I'm recusing.
So that's a 4-0-0.
Recusing.
Okay. Alrighty, so back to annual reappointments. So we have a list of terms, and what I was just mentioning is, I was confused at the ZBA because when I look back, there are 5 members and they're 5-year terms. I think they should have been appointed one every year, but for some reason we have 2. They're 5-year terms. It's state law. So there's 2 for 26 and 2 for 27, but they should be one every year. So at some point we have to clean up the term ends. And I don't know, I don't have a proposal for you guys for that tonight. So I was hoping we could just at least kick that one to the 23rd so I can figure out what they should be. Because right now I think we have 2 26s, 2 27s, and a 29.
It should be in your yearly report that you have.
Yeah, so it's right until about 2013, and then it goes off the wall because people were joining the end of terms, and then it got messed up.
Well, there was a whole board change at one point.
There was a whole board change, and so anyway, it was just, I don't know which of these should be 31 and which should be 30, and next year we're gonna have to deal with them again and try to straighten it all out, but right now.
I was going by your 2024 yearly annual thing that you put out to the public.
Yeah, it took me a long time to figure out that it was a 5-year term. I got information from the clerk. I thought it was 3 years as well, and so, anyway, that's, is there anything, I would like to pull out the ZBA just for that, to figure out the terms, but is there anything else that anyone objects to on this list?
I think if you're going to pull one out, I would rather just do them all at the same time.
I was just going to pull all 4 ZBAs out, so I could straighten out the term times and then vote the rest of these.
But the rest
folks.
don't have that same
No,
condition
the
or
rest of
problem?
them, nope.
Okay.
The rest of them were fine, because most of them are 3 years or 1 year,
The educational fund is 5.
but that's only one person, see?
Right. I understand what you're saying.
That's why I was like, something is wrong. It just was, I think it was an error that got perpetuated over time. Anyway. Thoughts?
Is it? I don't know. I still think we do it all at the same time, but just to keep it clean, but that's up to you
As
guys.
long as I have affordable housing this week, so. as
If
long
you
as
want
I
to
can
do it
get-
right now, what I would say is then one term has to be 2031 and one term has to be 2030.
Okay.
And then next year, someone's gonna have to be 2032 and someone's gonna have to be 2028. So I'm saying, this is gonna be bonkers.
As long as we get them before the 30th, I'm okay. Because I just have a couple of meetings, I have a meeting like tomorrow, but it's fine. As long as I have it until, I have it meeting until, I'm okay. Because it's only until the 30th.
But I have
No meeting before
no
that.
objections about any of the other ones. So, I'll just try this. See what happens.
Okay.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the list of candidates up for reappointment to their board or commission shown on the master list, excluding the 4 members of the Board of Appeals.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm a no, just because of what I said.
Sure. All right, so we'll do that the 23rd. And I'll
Okay.
get it straightened out and I'll get it into our packet so that we can.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, Paul, I just need to figure that out.
No, I mean, I think as long as it is in that yearly report, so that the public, when they read it,
Yes,
can understand it what they're reading.
explains it. Yep,
Correct.
yep, you got it.
Yep.
All right, set special town meeting
Thanks.
date. Wait, we're already talking about special town meeting.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. Yep.
Okay?
Thank you.
Night. Okay. So, sorry, I was just looking at this note about the COA, but
I know that, well, that was the other part of my question.
I was just looking, but it's not on.
But it's not
here.
in there. That's,
It was on the agenda by mistake, not on the addendum.
I see.
removed her from the addendum. and-
I see. So for clarity's sake, we can, this is available on the website. Correct? So
Correct.
in our
because we
meeting
appointed
materials.
her. No?
She decided she doesn't want to rerun.
No,
Understood.
this was a prior, yeah, it was an existing
Okay.
member.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, special town meeting date, October 27th is what we're looking at? Okay.
Oh, my God. I'm not ready.
All right, any objections?
Nope.
Wanna Check your
I-
calendars.
Oh, yep.
27th.
Do you want me to do that before I say anything? Hold on.
It's a
mean,
Tuesday.
ideally,
It is a
it's
Tuesday.
Okay,
It's always
so
good.
I, yeah, so I move the Board of Selectmen set the date of Tuesday, October 27th, 2026 as fall special town meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We get to spend our anniversaries with you guys. So nice. All right, so now we need a meeting date for July. Are we thinking we're only going to need one meeting? Because that could be.
it definitely has to be,
Oh.
I think Will has this hand up.
I know.
Is that usually, what time's that at, 6?
Sorry. So we have to meet before the 15th.
Okay, before the 15th?
Correct.
Okay.
So the Tuesday
So the
before would
14th
be.
is good, right?
Yeah.
That was our regular meeting. So we're talking about meeting on the 14th, but not the 28th. Is that what we're saying?
Correct.
Okay, works for me. So good for you guys?
I'm going, yeah, that beats out good, because I'm going away.
I will not be here, but I wouldn't have been anyway, so I'm
Well,
away.
fine.
Sorry.
So we're going to meet the 14th.
Wait, am I away? That's a good question.
So we're meeting July 14th, but not the
Hold on.
28th, right? Okay.
Just the 14th, correct.
Yeah, I am.
Actually, wait.
It could be the week before, I don't
I
know.
am here both, so I am going away. I am going away. in
I mean, you
August.
guys, as long as you have 3, right?
I'm going away right in the middle. Look at that. Right in the
I
middle.
think I'm
before we
away
have
the
another
week
meeting.
before.
August.
Yeah, I'm away the week
Could be the
before that.
7th.
Kim's away the 7th.
Yeah, I'm away the 7th. What do you want, Missy or me?
I want
Choose now.
both of you here.
I don't, it doesn't matter.
No, I already knew I was going to be
Okay.
away. Yeah.
All right, so we good with the 14th? Do we really need a,
14th
do we
is
need to
good
vote
for
that?
me.
I don't think we need to vote that.
No,
We just won't meet on the 20, whatever that. the
you're
28th.
just setting the schedule, so.
Okay, so we're
Everybody
just
seems
gonna
in
meet
agreement.
on
Meeting we'll have it.
7/14, but not 7/28.
Okay.
Great.
All
Just
right.
just remind me that day not to come here.
Okay, so we're on 6?
Yes.
Okay, so we approval for Independent Fermentations Brewing to sell beer/wine at Kingston's, is that? Oh, it's
A motorcycle.
It's not Thunder.
Farmers Market. Okay, so we have that before us. It's been reviewed. Looks like these are for all of the remaining farmers markets for this
Yep.
year.
Yep.
Great,
You ready?
I'm ready.
I move the Board of Selectmen approve the request from Independent Fermentations Brewing to sell their beer and wine at the Kingston Farmers Market on Sunday, June 7th, August 2nd, September 6th, and October 4th at Grays Beach.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next is to appoint a selectman to serve as a signatory member on the Old Colony Metropolitan Planning Council. I have been serving as backup to Dawn. Dawn Alcombright was our representative. They meet every month. It's about an hour-long meeting going through the project. So if anyone's especially interested in roads, and more than just Kingston, but all around us, would be really, really interesting. And if not, I can continue to serve just as the primary instead of the backup. Totally up to you guys. Somebody want to be on that, or do you want me to just stay?
I think you're doing a great job and you should stay unless someone really wants to jump
Yeah,
on
if I can do it if you want to. I mean, people love to talk to me about roads. For some reason, they do. They love.
They're Tuesdays, it's the third Tuesday at like 10 in the morning, so it's like 10 to 11 in the morning. That's the only thing.
I have an ongoing meeting with one of my staff at that time.
Okay.
I'd have to move the staff meeting.
I can stay, it's fine.
You sure?
Unless Carl or Joe really feels strongly about it.
I think Kim is number one and
All right.
Sheila is number two.
I
Is
can be number
perfect.
two.
Sheila can be the backup?
Sure.
All right, so I move the Board of Selectmen recommend Kim Emberg as the Kingston Board of Selectmen nomination for the Old Colony Metropolitan Planning Organization, effective immediately to October 31st, 2027, with Sheila Vaughn as the backup. Sounds strange, but as the backup.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just so you know, my term ends in May. So you can revisit this.
All right, here we go.
All right. Appointment of heavy equipment operator. So we had a recent promotion in the department, so there was a vacancy in the, we're calling it highway, right? We're not calling it streets and parks anymore? Highway, okay. So our highway superintendent is requesting a promotional transfer. And yeah, unless there's any objections, I can entertain a motion.
I move the Board of Selectmen appoint William Dugan to the position of heavy equipment operator, a non-exempt full-time position under Kingston Town Employees Union, labor, with a start date of July 1, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great. Fantastic. Town administrator report.
All I can say is I'm really excited about town meeting Saturday, and if anybody would like to see some information on town meeting, there'll be a recording for the chairman and I did with the local scene. Hopefully we'll have that up tomorrow, give everybody an idea of what to expect.
Just carve out an hour of your day.
Yeah, it's slightly longer than 18 minutes, but we do go over all of the warrant articles. Again, it's 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. We hope everybody in town can make it.
Do you know if we're having consent agenda?
We are.
Okay, so that works out very well. People will know that there's consent agenda, which means that it'll be a quicker meeting than if we were to not. Okay,
That's right. And we did go through it a little bit too in the video today, just talking about what a consent agenda is and how it's usually presented, and people can hold things if they have questions. So hopefully that helps.
And accessory dwelling is 90% of the booklet.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
And I'd also like to mention Matt Pinella, the conservation agent, had secured a grant recently. I just got it this week to redo a culvert on Chief Lake Street. Sound right? Yes. And this is something that they've been working on for many years, and this is a full grant, full paid through whatever program, culvert program. So it was a lot of work, and we very much appreciate that.
Great. Did you ever talk about the first grade field trip?
I don't know that we have.
Do you want to tell them about it?
It's
been a while. But
Yeah, so it's Mrs.
Lundy.
Miss Lundy's first grade class. They all came to town hall. It's been, I guess, about a month now.
A month, yeah.
It was amazing. They had a great time. They got to meet all the departments. They got to find out what we do at town hall. They had some amazing suggestions.
By the way, they
for
think
all
they
of
get
us.
paid 30 grand each, just for the
Yes,
record.
they want you all to have a raise, so
was
someday
like,
there'll
yeah,
be
no,
a town
less.
meeting, maybe.
Less.
When they're homeowners, they may change their mind.
Yeah. Oh, and the tax collector gave them each a copy of their parents' real estate bill, which was really fun.
Yes.
And the town clerk showed them all their birth certificates, anyone that was born here. So they had they practiced CPR with the health agent, climbed on some of the trucks and things. So they had a really fun day.
They
And
left with a lot of
spent
swag.
Yes, they did. Lots of little bags of swag. And then they went to Grace Beach and enjoyed the recreation's amenities there, so.
And then we did receive from each and every one of them a handwritten thank you, and they all told what their favorite story was. None of them mentioned meeting the town administrator for some reason.
I noticed that.
And I handed out crayons.
True.
And a coloring book.
Yeah, but oddly enough, they love the fire department and the big red trucks out there,
Oh,
so.
police, and yeah. That's funny.
And that's all I have.
Okay. I wanted to just mention that Mr. Will Cushman is available for lights for special town meeting for the Kingston Intermediate School, so just putting it on the record there. Just like he's going to be there on this Saturday, helping with the lighting, so. Just letting everyone know.
Can I make two things?
Please.
Two things. The graduation went very well this last weekend.
I heard the rain held
Congratulations
out, right?
To Joe and Missy for their graduates. And the rain held out. It was a wonderful night for the graduates, just seeing everybody around town, which was wonderful. And just really a great opportunity for students to get out there. And then I did want to let you know that Dylan Fernandez actually got us some of the fair share money, which is great for us to get some outdoor intercoms for the schools. So we just saw that last night. So we're very happy to get some of the Fair Share Act money. So we just want more of it to come to the K through 12, which would be great. So that was a good push, because I haven't seen any of the money come to K through 12 in a long time. It's always gone to the colleges, which I happen to work for, but it was a good move to see some of that actually coming. So hopefully, maybe we'll go to other places.
Anything, Carl?
Nothing.
Anything, Joe?
Nothing.
Nothing. All right, we'll see everybody on Saturday. Does someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Next meeting is 23rd, but we'll see you at town meeting.